What's going on, guys? It's Greg here, aka New York Prepper. Wanted to just show you guys my favorite Tinder sources, Tinder and Firestarters, okay, for my bug out bag, my get home bag, and my survival kit, my wilderness survival kit. These are Tinder sources and Firestarters that I always carry with me, whether I'm going in the woods, for hiking or camping, shooting, hunting. I always carry these items with me. Also, I have these items in my bug out bag, and I keep my bug out bag with me anytime I go outside of my house more than 5 miles away. All right, within 5 miles I don't bring my bug out bag, but if I go more than 5 miles I bring my bug out bag and get home bag. And I have all these items with me, so I want to show you my favorite fire starters and tinder sources that are man-made. All right, these are man-made tinder sources. A lot of them are, have natural components to them, but they're actually made in a factory. Okay, they're not natural. I didn't pick bark off of a birch tree or cattail tops. It's nothing like that. These are man-made things that you can buy relatively inexpensively, and I just wanted to show you what they are. All right, and I highly recommend you guys put together a kit very similar to mine. With these tinder sources, you can pretty much start a fire anywhere at any time, in difficult conditions, okay, and even when you're hypothermic. Okay, so I designed all of these components that you see here in front of you. I didn't design them, but I designed my kit, my survival kit, my tinder and my fire starting kit around all kinds of scenarios. I want to be able to start a fire no matter what the temperature, no matter what the terrain, no matter what the weather is, okay, whether it's raining or snowing, no matter what my physical condition is. Okay, if let's say I'm hypothermic and I need to start a fire quickly to warm up, I need to have something in my kit that will help me do that quickly. All right, sometimes you need to start a fire very rapidly and you don't have time to go around and pick cattail tops off and look for birch bark and make feather sticks. You don't have time for that. All right, if you're in an escape and evasion scenario, if let's say it's a bug out situation or a get home situation, that's pretty much an escape and evasion scenario, and you don't want to spend half a day building a fire, all right, trying to find tinder and trying to find kindling and all these different components. All right, you want to have everything you need in your bug out bag so you can use it very quickly and get your fire started, boil your water, or cook your food, whatever that is, and move on. Okay, so that's kind of what the theory that I used when I was building this these tinder sources. I wanted something to cover all the bases. All right, whether I'm hypothermic, whether it's raining, whether it's cold and there's snow, whatever. I want to have a diversity of tinder and a diversity of fire starters so I can use them in different situations. All right, so this is going to be a little bit of a lengthy video because I'm going to go into detail of every component, but I feel that this is a very, very important topic, so it's worth it for me to give you guys an in-depth discussion on all these items that you see before you. All right, so like I said, the philosophies here when I was putting this together is escape and evasion, and being able to start a fire in any condition, as well as any environmental condition, as well as any physical condition that I'm in. Okay, so all right, without further ado, let's get started. So these items here that you see here, these are my I'm going to just push some stuff out of the way so I can kind of get the central focus. I guess I'm kind of advertising a little bit of what I have. So these items you see here, all right, these are my tinder sources that I have in my bug out bag, in my survival kit, in my wilderness kit. Anytime I go hunting, anytime I go shooting in the woods, anytime I go in the backcountry, this is always on me, okay? Same thing, my bug out bag has all these items in it. This is actually from my bug out bag. I actually took these out of my bug out bag, all right? So let me just show you what I have here, all right? I'm going to work myself from left to right, all right? So first thing on the left, you'll see these two orange canisters. These are UCO stormproof match containers. You can buy, normally these have the stormproof matches in them, which I have those too. I'll show you guys my fire kit in a separate video, but here we're just talking about tinder sources and fire starters, okay? So this is just these, you can buy these online on eBay or Amazon. You can buy empty UCO containers, all right? They're only like $2 each, and they're waterproof, and they're made of like this really thick plastic, all right? And they have an O-ring seal on them, so it keeps everything watertight inside. And it has this orange color, so it's good visibility. All right, so what you see in this one container, I have 8 large cotton balls. All right, there's no Vaseline on these. There's no anything. I didn't add anything to these. Okay, these are just pure jumbo size cotton balls, and there's 8 of them in here. All right, 8 cotton balls. Theoretically, with each one of these cotton balls, I should be able to start a fire with just one cotton ball. If I have other natural tinder sources available to me in my area, okay, dry tinder sources that I can use in addition to this. But the main theory behind these is I want something dry that can catch a spark very easily, and that's why there's no Vaseline on them. And you can see these jumbo cotton balls are pretty big. They'll burn for like a good 30 seconds. And I just want plain cotton. I don't want any Vaseline or anything on it. I want something that can take a spark real easy and be a initial tinder to light my other tinder that I can gather from my environment. Okay, so first thing, like I said, cotton balls, 8 jumbo cotton balls compressed into this waterproof container. I have it numbered here so I know what's in it. I know that number 2 is cotton balls, and this is a nice, it's very lightweight and it's solid. In this one, number 3, I have these tinder-quik tabs. I have 16, all right, 16 of these tinder-quik tabs, okay, and they're squeezed in there. Again, theoretically, I should be able to start a fire with one of these tinder tabs, okay, so theoretically, I should be able to start 16 fires with these tabs, all right, and I have a little Ziploc bag in here, all right, little Ziploc bag just to keep them dry. Bundles of 4, okay, and so this is what would be my go-to tinder if I don't have anything else. This is my first line, all right, this is my first line. This is what I'm going to go to first before I do anything else, and then also my fat wood, which I'll get into in a second. And this is what the tinder-quik looks like. It comes in these orange boxes here, and you can also get them in this big pouch. This has 50. I also keep a pouch of 50, and I'll show you what that looks like inside. So here I have 50 of them, okay, and I may actually move these into a little pill bottle because I feel that this bag is just not strong enough, and it could pop open and water could get in. But the key with any kind of cotton fire starter or a tinder source is you want to keep it super dry, okay. These tinder-quik tabs are cotton. They don't work when they're wet, so that's why they're in this pill bottle. All right, and I also have a spare cotton ball in there as well to maximize space and squeeze another one in there. Same thing with the cotton ball. I want to keep it airtight and dry. All right, that's why I use this one. It has the O-ring seal in it, so it keeps it super dry. All right, and it's orange, easy to see. I can go through my bug out bag, and I know I can see this orange, sitting there in my bag, and I can reach for it and grab it quickly if I need to get the fire going fast, all right? And then I have more of these. All right, so this is what I would consider my first line. Then I also have these inside of this bottle here. I have 6 wet fire tinder cubes, okay? These are probably, in my opinion, one of the best emergency fire starter tinders that you can buy, okay? Wet fire tinder. It's like a little white cube, and what you can do is, you know, the whole cube itself will burn, obviously, but what you can also do is you can scrape off a corner. You scrape a corner of the cube off, all right, and it leaves like a little powder, and that will take a spark very, very well. And I have 6 of them in this container. The reason why I have it in this container is because, you know, I don't want them to get crushed. So it usually comes in a box like this. All right, and that's what it actually looks like here. And I'm going to attach a video of me using these. I did a test on these a few months ago. Comes in this box of 12. Highly recommend it. It burns when it's wet. Okay, you can literally put this on top of water and it will burn. All right, the only thing is you can't, if you're going to use a ferro rod, you need to scrape a little bit of the white stuff off the side and make a little pile of the wet fire. It's not just going to catch a spark on its own, okay? But it comes in this little, these pouches here, okay? And they fold up, and again, I put them in a, I put them in this bottle here, so this way they're protected. They don't get crushed. You know, you don't want them to get crushed because then they're no good. But one of these wet fire tinder cubes will burn for, what is it, 7 minutes, 5 minutes? Okay, 1 cube burns for 5 minutes, and that's what the cube looks like right there. All right, and like I said, if you're gonna use this as a tinder source, you got to scrape a little bit of the edge off the cube and make a little pile of whites, like powder, basically, because it's like a chemical, and then that'll catch fire, and then you can actually light the whole cube itself, and the cube will burn for 5 minutes. I did a test on it. If you want to check that out, in my Firecraft playlist, check my Firecraft playlist. I have all my videos there. And I'm going to also attach a link on the top of this video if you want to head over there and watch that or save it for later. It burns very well. I tested this in the rain. Very good tinder source, okay? I also tested these tinder-quik tabs as well. I tested these too. If you want to check that out, you can check my Firecraft playlist out, okay? So we went over the cotton balls and tinder-quik tabs. We went over the wet fire tinder, all right, and this is something I would use in bad elements if I really couldn't get the fire going, okay? If I couldn't get the fire going because it was wet, then I would go into this, all right? This is what I would use. This is more of like a emergency situation, all right? If I really needed a fire and it was cold and wet, and, you know, I couldn't find good tinder, or I didn't have time to find good tinder because, you know, it was an escape and evasion scenario, and I wasn't really, I don't really have time to, you know, spend 45 minutes walking around and looking for, you know, tinder. I can use one of these guys, okay? So that's kind of the thinking behind that, all right? And then, so moving on from that, another thing that I would use in an emergency if I really had to get a fire going, and I did a test on this earlier as well, if you guys want to check this out, is some magnesium shavings, okay? And I keep it in this waterproof container here, okay? So I just want to be careful I don't, you know, spill them. So I can't really open the whole thing, sorry guys, but basically what this is just a this is a waterproof capsule. It has an O-ring here. Let me just get these shavings off. They're getting in the way of the threads here. All right, so this is just a waterproof capsule. It's made of anodized aluminum. It's very heavy duty. It's got this ring here if I want to clip this onto my backpack or clip it inside of my pouch, my fire pouch, you know, on like a key ring or one of those, you know, those you can get one of those clips, the carabiners, and have this hanging from it. So if you need it, you can grab it. But I got this on Amazon, Outdoor EDC. I don't remember the company. It's probably some kind of, you know, overseas Chinese. I don't know. But I have the aluminum, the magnesium in there. All right. And I have this big bag of magnesium if I need to refill. All right. You can get this whole bag for like 20 bucks. All right. And this is extremely flammable. So you want to keep this away from any heat source or any combustion source, okay? All right, so these two things here are what I consider an emergency. If I really need to get the fire going, I got the magnesium. Magnesium burns extremely hot, okay? So if there's wet wood or wet kindling and the environment is wet and I really need to get a fire, the magnesium is going to help me do that because it burns thousands of degrees. And I did a test earlier. I did a video earlier today, and it's already uploaded. I talked about, magnesium and how it's an overlooked, fire kit item. And it actually will. I did a test, and what I did was I burned it on top of an piece of aluminum foil, and it actually melted through the foil. That's how hot it was, okay? So if you have wet kindling and wet tinder, let's say, you found some tinder, but it's a little bit wet or it's very humid outside, and, your kindling is moist. It's kind of a moist environment. This will really help to get things going because it's extremely hot, all right? Moving on from that, we're going to go into hand sanitizer, and I did a video on this as well. Hand sanitizer takes a spark very, very easily, okay? I can pump this pump here just once, and it'll squirt a little pile, and I can light that with my ferro rod. All right, this is my ferro rod. You guys have probably seen it before. I can light it with my ferro rod, and it will burn for a couple of minutes, okay? So I have that, and obviously this isn't primarily for fire starting. I have this for multi-purpose. So if I need to, let's say, for bathing purposes and, keeping hygienic, I can, use this to maintain some hygiene while I'm in an escape and evasion scenario or a bug out scenario where I don't have time to, find a river and bathe or something, and I just need to quickly freshen up. I can rub this on different areas of my body. All right, so this is multi-purpose. And this looks like a small bottle, but you can get a lot of sanitizer out of this little bottle. I counted each pump. I have 100 pumps out of this one little 2-ounce bottle here, okay? 100 pumps, and each pump I can use to start a fire. All right, so all you need is 1, maybe 2 pumps to get a fire going. So this is another thing that I would use if I had difficulty getting a fire going. All right, and just the sanitizer by itself will actually burn for probably about 30 seconds to up to 2 minutes, depending on how much sanitizer you put. If you put like a lot of hand sanitizer and you make like a good little pile of hand sanitizer and you hit that with a ferro rod, that's going to burn for like a good couple of minutes, okay? And I'm going to attach a video to this video of me doing that. Of lighting some hand sanitizer, because a lot of people overlook this as a tinder source or a fire starting source, all right, because this is alcohol. I don't know how much percentage. Hand sanitizer is usually like 60 to 70% alcohol, and it burns nicely. So hand sanitizer is another one. We're almost done, guys. So the next thing is fat wood, okay? Here I have fat wood. Just did a video on this, and I talked about how fat wood is if I could only have one tinder source, it would be fat wood, okay? If I could only take one fire starting, one type of fire starter or one type of tinder source with me, it would be a stick, just one stick of fat wood, okay? One stick of fat wood, I can start dozens and dozens of fires with this one stick, okay? I can use it to make tinder. I can scrape off shavings off of this, all right, which I did a video on. Check my Firecraft playlist, all right. If I hold my knife like this at a 90-degree angle, I can scrape off very fine dust off of this thing, all right, off of this stick here. And once I scrape off a little pile, I can hit that with my ferro rod or with the lighter, and it will burn for a good 30 seconds. And then I can add some kindling and other tinder sources to keep the fire going. But another thing too is you can literally light the end of this. All right, if it's a real emergency, I can literally take my lighter here. I can take my lighter and I can literally just burn the end of this, and this whole thing will start to burn because this is soaked in resin. Okay, you can see these brown colors. All right, it's all resinous. All right, this is all flammable resin. All right, it's like turpentine. All right, so I could literally just burn the end of this stick if I had to, if I really needed to get a fire going and I didn't want to scrape it off and stuff like that. I could hit my lighter against this, okay, and then get it going. All right, so and I'm gonna do a separate video on my fire kit. All right, and my actual combustion and ignition devices as well. So look for that. But all right, so fat wood, like I said, another thing with fat wood too is you can also split it into little, kindling pieces like this. I can actually take one of these and split it into finer pieces like this, or even smaller than this. If I wanted to, I can split this even more, and this can act as a kindling, initial kindling. Okay, this will be my initial kindling, and then I can add natural kindling that I find. All right, but this would actually help get the fire going if it's wet outside, and especially me being in the Northeast, upstate New York, it's always moist here. Okay, the East Coast is always pretty moist. It's like one day it'll rain, the next day it'll be sunny. It's not a dry environment, so there's also you have shady areas. All right, areas in the shade where water will naturally stay and it'll always be moist there. So I need something that I can use as kindling in case I can't find super dry kindling, and this will help get it going initially, get the fire going initially. So what I could do is, and I did a video on this just earlier, okay, I could literally start a fire with just one of these sticks. All right, I can shave off I can shave off the shavings and the sawdust, and then once that starts burning, I can add my splinters, and the splinters will catch fire, and these will burn super hot, okay? And then from there, I can put my kindling on top, all right? So fat wood would be, if I could only have one tinder source, I would have even just one stick of fat wood could save your life, all right? And here, what I have is, I have a bundle of them, and I actually have different varieties, and you can see they have different colors. This one looks more like traditional wood, and then this one you can see is filled with, resins, and, this lighter colored one that looks like normal wood, it comes from the Duraflame company, which you can get pretty much anywhere. And then this more resinous type, darker resinous type, I got it from, home improvement stores. It's this, it comes in this red bag. I forget the name. SC certified. Looks like a Quebec, a company from Quebec, but this one has a little bit more of the the resins in there. So I have a mixture of both. Why do I have a mixture? Well, these from Duraflame are easier to work with, all right, because they're not as impregnated with all the resin. So if I need to scrape, sawdust off and get like a fine powder dust, and I'm scraping with my knife like 90 degrees like this, it's going to be much easier to get that fine sawdust that really takes a spark well. Also, this is easier to split. If I want to split this into little splinters and have some kindling, it's much easier to do than with one of these heavily impregnated pieces, all right? Because you have all this resin in there, and it makes it a lot harder to work with. Because remember, guys, resin is it's like almost like a cement. When it hardens like this, it's very hard, and it's hard to actually scrape, dust off of this, because this is has a lot more of the resin, and it's hard to get that fine dust that's going to take a spark. And it's hard to split it. It doesn't split evenly into nice splinters because it has all the resin, so it's just not as easy to work with, all right? This one is easier to work with, so I have a mixture. These I would use in an emergency, If I really couldn't get a fire going, these I would use as a match, all right, giant match. I would light the tip just like I showed you guys, and then I could take that, once this is lit, I can use it as a giant match, and I can put this into my Tinder bundle. If I have a Tinder bundle over here, I can put it in there and get it going, all right? And I'll attach a video below so you can see me actually doing that. So that's why I have that mixture, okay? And I have it taped, not taped, I have it rubber banded. You know, with this, even with just these sticks alone, I could start, you know, thousands and thousands of fires with that, all right? And moving on, finally, the last item are these flares. These are Orion mini flares, okay? These are like half the size of a normal flare, like a normal road flare. And these are the Orion Fire Pit Pro or Signal Flare, okay? And it comes in this box. Ultimate Outdoor Fire Starter, windproof, weatherproof. Contains 12 fire starters, lights, even damp wood. All right, so this is what it's called if you guys want to buy it, all right? And basically all it is just a tiny flare. And the reason I keep two of them, all right, I keep two because one, this is my emergency last resort, okay? If I'm hypothermic, all right, or somebody in my group or somebody I'm with is hypothermic and they need, you know, a fire immediately, and I don't have time to start looking around for Tinder and kindling and all these things, you know, it's literally a matter of life or death and or limb. You know, if somebody has frostbite or something really bad frostbite and we need to thaw them out, you know, you need to get that fire going quickly, all right? And this will do the trick, all right? It's literally just a flare, and it has a 7-minute burn time, and obviously flares are super hot. So I can start an emergency fire with this if I have to, and it doesn't weigh much. It's really small and compact. Fits into my my survival kit really well. All right, and I keep another one. I keep two of them. The second one I use for signaling. All right, if I'm lost in the woods or in the wilderness and I need to signal rescue, I would use the other one for signaling purposes. All right, so I always keep two of these little flares with me. Okay, if I need to signal an aircraft or somebody that people are looking for me, or you know, whatever, having one of these, you know, having a flare for that always helps, you know, rather than having to build a signal fire. All right, so two of these, one for fire starting, one for signaling. Fat wood, not rubbing alcohol, hand sanitizer. All right, magnesium shavings, wet fire tinder in this container to keep it from getting crushed. 8 cotton balls. tinder-quik tabs, all right, 16 in here and then 50 in here, all right? So I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and again, all these things, they don't weigh that much. If I put all these things together, this is really literally probably no more than half a pound or a pound max, and it's really life-saving things. Certain things you can't cut weight on, all right? These things like this are a matter of life and death, and when you have them, you really appreciate having them. So, you know, I'd rather carry an extra pound or half a pound of stuff that I know is really essential, you know, like these flares or the fat wood, you know, all these things are essential. Yeah, these things weigh, you know, this weighs, you know, probably about a pound or so, maybe even 2 pounds, but it's worth it to me, all right? It's in an emergency, it's worth it. So I hope you enjoyed the video, and let me know in the comments what you guys think, and let me know what other types of videos you want me to do, whether it's related to fire starting or wilderness survival. Give me an indication on what you want me to do. Let me know. I do this channel for you guys, so you know, it doesn't interest me to make videos that nobody wants to watch. All right, so you know, let me know what you want to see. And I got a lot more fire starting videos to come. In my next video, I'm gonna show you guys my fire starting kit. All right, all my combustion devices, my lighters, my ferro rods and things like that, my actual stuff that you would use to actually start the fire and ignite these tinders. Okay, so look for that one and check out my Firecraft playlist if you want to see all my fire videos that I've done, fire starting videos. All right, so and again, I've been doing survival and I've been an outdoorsman for probably 20 years now. All right, so I've actually tested these things in the real world. I've been in, wilderness areas many times, in practicing my survival skills and building fires, so I know what I'm talking about. And so I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Take care, God bless, and don't forget the 3 P's: prepare, practice, and persevere.